In this podcast episode, Zeena Schreck, the daughter of Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, shares her unique and tumultuous journey through a life steeped in the controversial world of Satanism. The conversation delves into her upbringing, the complexities of her family dynamics, and her eventual disillusionment with the Church, culminating in her exploration of Buddhism as a path toward healing and self-discovery. Zeena was born in 1963 into a household that was anything but ordinary. Her father, Anton LaVey, was a charismatic and manipulative figure who established the modern Church of Satan. He was known for his theatricality and his belief that life was a carnival where the gullible were fair game for exploitation. This environment shaped Zeena's early perceptions of morality and relationships. She describes her father as a carnival barker, someone who thrived on attention and manipulation, often at the expense of others. Her mother, who married Anton when she was just 17, played a significant role in the family dynamic. Zeena characterizes her mother as narcissistic, often prioritizing her own need for validation and attention over her responsibilities as a parent. This created a sense of neglect in Zeena's life, as her mother was more focused on her relationship with Anton and the church than on nurturing her children. The tension between her parents, both of whom had their own psychological issues, left Zeena feeling caught in the middle, struggling to navigate her loyalty to each parent while grappling with her own identity. In the 1980s, during a period of widespread panic about satanic practices in America, Zeena took on the role of High Priestess of the Church of Satan. This decision was not made lightly. It stemmed from a sense of duty to defend her father and the organization against the accusations that were being hurled at them. Zeena felt compelled to step into this role, believing that she could help mitigate the damage being done to their reputation. However, she soon realized that her involvement was more about her father's needs than her own. As High Priestess, Zeena became a public spokesperson for the church, participating in interviews and public events. She describes this time as chaotic, filled with pressure and conflicting emotions. While she initially believed she was helping to protect her family, she began to see the darker side of the organization and the manipulation at play. The church's emphasis on hedonism and self-indulgence, coupled with her father's narcissism, created an environment that was ultimately unsustainable and damaging. The satanic panic of the 1980s was a significant backdrop to Zeena's experiences. This period was marked by widespread fear and hysteria surrounding alleged satanic rituals and abuse, leading to numerous false accusations and ruined lives. Zeena became increasingly aware of the impact this panic had on innocent people, many of whom were being unjustly accused of satanic practices. This realization weighed heavily on her conscience and contributed to her growing disillusionment with the church. Despite her father's insistence that they were merely playing with the concept of Satanism as a form of rebellion against societal norms, Zeena began to see the harm that was being inflicted on others. She felt a deep sense of empathy for those who were suffering as a result of the panic, which conflicted with the teachings she had been raised with. The church's doctrine of retaliation and revenge began to feel hollow and morally bankrupt in light of the suffering she witnessed. The turning point for Zeena came when she realized that her father's manipulative tendencies extended beyond the church and into their personal lives. After years of defending him and the organization, she reached a breaking point when he threatened her life. This moment forced her to confront the reality of her situation and the toxic dynamics that had defined her upbringing. In April 1990, Zeena made the decision to sever her ties with the Church of Satan. This act of defiance was not just a rejection of her father's influence, but also a reclaiming of her own identity. She sought refuge in Vienna, where she began to explore different spiritual paths, including Buddhism. This transition marked the beginning of her journey toward healing and self-discovery. As Zeena delved into Buddhism, she found a stark contrast to the teachings of Satanism. Buddhism emphasizes compassion, mindfulness, and the understanding of suffering as an inherent part of life. This new perspective resonated with her, allowing her to process the trauma of her past and the complexities of her family dynamics. She began to understand that true power lies not in revenge or manipulation, but in the ability to choose compassion and kindness. Through her Buddhist practice, Zeena learned to confront her anger and resentment toward her father and the church. She recognized that holding on to these negative emotions was ultimately self-destructive. Instead of seeking vengeance, she focused on her own healing and personal growth. This shift in mindset allowed her to break free from the cycle of fear and manipulation that had defined her early life.